In this question, we're told that ABC is a right-angled triangle. Here is Sarah's method to find the length of BC. She says that BC squared is equal to AB squared plus AC squared, and then she goes on to solve that BC is equal to 10. And in part A, we need to find out what mistake Sarah has made in her method. Well, we can see that Sarah has used Pythagoras Theorem. And Pythagoras Theorem states that A squared plus B squared equals C squared. But in Pythagoras' theorem, the length C must always be the hypotenuse. Well, let's identify the hypotenuse in triangle ABC. The hypotenuse is the side opposite the right angle, and so we can see that the hypotenuse is side AC. Now let's take a look at what Sarah has done. She said that BC squared is equal to AB squared plus AC squared. And so she's taken the length BC to be the hypotenuse. Now this is incorrect, because we know that the hypotenuse is the length AC. And so the mistake Sarah has made in her method is that she said that BC was the hypotenuse, when really the hypotenuse is the length AC. Now in part B, we're told that Roy is going to enlarge triangle PQR with centre C and scale factor 1.5. He draws triangle XYZ. And in part B, we need to explain why Roy's diagram is not correct. Well, to enlarge triangle PQR with centre C and scale factor 1.5, we can find the distance to get from C to any point on triangle PQR, and use this and scale factor in order to work out the distance from C to the corresponding points on the enlarged shape. Now we can see that point R and point Z are corresponding. Point Z is equivalent to point R, but on the enlarged triangle. And so if he's enlarged triangle PQR with a centre C and scale factor 1.5, the distance from C to Z must be 1.5 multiplied by the distance from C to R. Let's confirm if this is true. We can see that the distance between C and R is equal to 4 squares. 4 multiplied by 1.5 is equal to 6. And so if the triangle PQR is enlarged by scale factor 1.5 with centre C, the distance from C to Z should be equal to 6. Well, now let's take a look at the actual distance from C to Z on our diagram. We can see that the distance on our diagram from C to Z is equal to 10 squares. And so we can now clearly see that Roy has not enlarged triangle PQR by a scale factor of 1.5, because if he did enlarge triangle PQR with scale factor 1.5, the distance between C and Z would be equal to 6. On our diagram, it's actually equal to 10, and so we can say that Roy's diagram is not correct because he enlarged triangle PQR by a scale factor that is not equal to 1.5. And so we've answered part B by saying that Roy's diagram is not correct because the scale factor that he used is not equal to 1.5. Now this question is worth 2 marks. We get the first mark for correctly identifying the mistake in part A, and for saying that the mistake Sarah has made is that she thought that BC was the hypotenuse when the hypotenuse is actually the side AC. We get the second mark for identifying the mistake in part B, and for saying that Ray's diagram is not correct because he used the scale factor that is not equal to 1.5, allowing us to get the full 2 marks needed in this question.